live on Facebook now. Okay, right guys, we are officially live across social media. Super cool to have you both on. Very cool to see you guys. Just before we get kicked off, I just want to make sure everyone can see us and hear us. If you can see us and hear us on live stream, please do me a favor, just give me a yes or something or a thumbs up in the chat box, just so I know you guys can hear us and I'm not talking to myself, which unfortunately seems to be a bit of a habit of mine on these streams. So just check in. If you can hear us, just give us a thumbs up, an okay, or a yes in the chat, just so I know. Also, please bear with our responses. We have a very long delay between you writing something and us actually receiving it. We have between 10 and 15 seconds. It is a long ass delay. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Awesome, Andy. Thank you very much, man. Super cool to see you. So on to tonight's session. It should be a really interesting session. We're going to be excellent. Hey, John. Hey, Kevin. Cool to see you guys. So tonight's session, we've got an awesome time. We're going to be spending a little bit of time with Sam and Charlotte Bailey, a couple of my favorite people in the entire world. Very seasoned property investors. They've been in and around this industry for quite a number of years. Been doing some very interesting, very cool things. And I thought it'd be really useful for us to be able to get a chance for them to share a little bit about their life story. So why don't we kick off with you guys? Just tell us a little bit about you. Like, who are you in the world? Where do you come from? What's your background? Tell us, please. We're fascinated to hear.
I'm Sam, obviously. We're based in the Midlands, actually in Worcester now. Used to be Birmingham. That's an inside joke there, Richard. Yeah, we've been property in probably seriously for about the last 4 or 5 years. Originally, we probably started about 9 years ago with our own little residential. That's how we started. I've got a bit of a background in building works. I've done quite a lot of work over the past 10-15 years with my dad, who's also a builder, so I've got a general decent amount of experience in that. That's kind of where property kind of linked into it. That's one kind of influence.
I've kind of said everything. But yes, my background was nursing. I've been doing property now just over a year. You've been doing it
Full time?
Yeah, full time. About 3 years a year.
Really?
About 4 years, so that's not bad.
Wow.
So yeah, and we're just absolutely loving the journey.
Perfect. So, I mean, obviously, so that's a little bit about your background and where you come from in the world and the time you've been in property. So, I mean, what spurred the decision one day where you went, you know what, I'm done with all this, I'm going to get involved in property. So what was it in your life that made that decision basically happen? Please, I'm fascinated for everybody to hear.
So basically, Sam's family have all got like a building background. So our original plan, when we were just getting married, it was buy our first house, we'll do it up, we'll live in it for a couple of years, sell it, buy a nicer house, and that was our plan just for ourselves to get a nice house for our family to live in. And that's kind of all we saw that was happening. That's as far as our vision went at that point.
Fair enough.
And then Sam saw like a 2-hour free training on Facebook. And our daughter was like 3 months old at the time, so we went along with her in the pushchair, and that did 2 hours, and it completely opened our eyes to all these possibilities that the portfolio, using other people's money, and you can do it so much faster and have all this time back. And that was like the eye-opening moment of we need to do this, and that's really how we didn't know how we first got started in property, wasn't it?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Like you're saying, we just, I mean, a bit of building background. We wanted to build up to a nicer house, essentially, when we first started. So we bought one that we thought needed a bit of work doing on it. Luckily, it did turn out we made a bit of profit on it. So a couple of years, we sold it, and then we did that again for the second one.
Yeah.
So that's kind of when we found out about how to invest properly.
Interesting. And I mean, obviously, you guys wanted to get your time back to be able to do what you wanted to do. So, what was the purpose? What did you want to get your time back for? What did you want to do with that time? Out of interest.
Well, as I said, like at that time, we had a 3-month-old daughter. She's going to be 6 next month.
Yep.
And we've also got a son now who's going to be 3 next month as well. We didn't plan very well at all with them both being birthday. So that was basically why we wanted our time back. We wanted to be able to take them to school every day and be there for every parents' evening and sports day and not miss out on anything. So when our daughter was younger and I was having to leave her to do shifts and night shifts and all these things, it was like, it was just horrible and we just didn't want that anymore. And we're really lucky now that both of us can take them to school. And the amount of dads that you see in the school playground is not as many as the moms. And it's really nice that we can both be there and enjoy everything as well.
Excellent. And obviously, I mean, other than property, tell us a little bit more about yourselves. What do you guys do to fill your time? Because obviously, you and I both know once you get to a point where you no longer have to work, you get a little bit more time back. So what do you guys do to fill your time? What's your fun? What's your hobbies? What do you do?
Those hobbies wise, I mean, I'm not a big Aston Villa football fan, so I had a good week this weekend. Yeah, just about. I was good at the tea. So I mean, before lockdown, obviously, I used to be able to go to the games whenever I wanted to, and it just gave us that freedom. That's what we wanted really. That's essentially why.
Yeah. We've also then set up a refurbishment company in the West Midlands that we run alongside our property business. So because we've got quite a lot of contacts now, we've got a lot of contacts now in the property world. We tend to do refurbishments for other investors.
Oh.
So we've got a little bit more of inside knowledge then when it comes to what people want done on their properties, whether it's HMOs or buy-to-lets or flips, and what standard they want them doing to, so it's fit for purpose. Then we also do some coaching and we help out with some of the katana stuff. So we fill our time. We are quite busy again now, but it's quite nice because our son's going to start school in the preschool in September, so we'll have like so much more time.
we ourselves, it's pretty much, I don't know, 80% of our time is obviously taken up with our two kids who are, I mean, obviously they had most of lockdown off. Our daughter went back for 4 weeks and now she's up for another 10 weeks in the summer. So it's been a bit testing with obviously being able to get work done, going out and property wise. But we still managed. It's just you've got to manage them carefully.
Yeah. We were lucky really over lockdown that we didn't have to worry about working as well as homeschooling. We could just focus fully on the homeschooling and making sure that we're doing absolutely everything for our children without that extra worry of I've got to work full time or I've got to go out to work and worrying about the income and that kind of stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah, so we didn't really realise like we were in that position. I mean, a lot of other people have struggled through lockdown, and we've got enough properties to we were comfortable. I mean, we wanted to get out there and do more work, earn more money, but we were okay with what we had, the income that we had, so the pressure was kind of off. And so we could give Philippa, our daughter, like 100% of our attention that she needs to homeschool what she needs to do.
Excellent. And you said you started getting involved in property like 8-9 years ago, but you only really started taking it seriously 4 years ago. I mean, what happened in that period of time, in that period between the 8-9 to the 4 years? How many deals did you guys do? What did you guys get up to? And what happened? I think everyone's fascinated. I certainly love this stuff anyway. I know you guys well, but I love this. So.
Yeah. So as Sam said, we did 2 houses of our own residential. And did them up and flipped them and moved to the next house. We did some property training where it was more classroom-based training, which was really good, but you didn't really have that support once you left the classroom, and that's the bit we were struggling with.
Okay.
We did a flip after that we did make a profit on. We probably spent too much on the refurb because I'm totally attached to that one.
I mean, so we did a flip, I mean, it took us 2 years to find and do one flip potentially. That's not really, when anyone that's investing in property, obviously that's not critical.
No. We were basically looking in Birmingham and just struggling to find anything. So every house we went into to view, there was like 10 investors stood in the living room and were like, so you'd ring up to put your offer in and they'd say, just let you know someone's offered 10 grand over asking price, and we're like, well, my 40 grand below asking price isn't going to get it there. Just chasing our tails completely and not having a clue what we were doing. we're just trying to get them 40 offers in, but it didn't count when our 40 offers were so low. We were just trying to find a need in a hotel really. And then basically Sam had this message on Facebook about finding a mentor.
Yeah, well, I saw a few posts Richard had put out on Facebook, just saying, well, to start with, it was like, I found this deal the next couple of days, like, oh, we've got another deal agreed. I was like, what's going on, how's he doing this with juggling? Then he put a post out saying, oh, just basically, does anyone want help finding deals, essentially, that's what it was. We've got a call booked in with him, and within the second call, I think we signed up with Richard, because I mean, he's got a lot of systems in place that essentially just makes it easy to find deals. That's well, as simple as it was when we first met him. I mean, that was almost 4 years ago now. I mean, one system now, I mean, it's complicated to start talking about it. But yeah, essentially we met Richard, and then that's kind of when it sort of took off.
Yeah, we needed that hand holding more, and finding a new area up north, which was completely scary when you don't know anywhere up north. And just basically getting out of our own way and focusing us more and kicking us up the arse when we needed kicking up the arse and we hadn't done as we were supposed to do. And that's really what we needed at that point. And because we got a good mentor, that's literally pushed us to where we are now.
So when we first met, obviously our daughter was 2 then, so I mean it's a huge distraction for anyone with kids obviously knows that. So what we needed was a mentor, obviously, which was a great mentor for us. It was just to kind of keep us on track, not get sidetracked by the daily happenings really. I mean,
okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I really appreciate the kind words. I really don't want this to be a testimonial about me. I want this to be, this is all about your journey. This is all about what you guys are doing. So, I mean, when it comes to property, what's one of your biggest lessons? What's the one thing you think made the biggest difference for your, like the mindset change or the belief or whatever it is? What's the one thing that you feel you go, look, that was the thing that really was the turning point for me, the pivot, where everything sort of changed? So, I mean, what was it? I'm fascinated. So,
I think to me, like you say, it is mindset. I mean, obviously there's a lot of other things that go with it, but to me, mindset is literally everything in anyone's life. It doesn't matter if it's property or whatever you do. I mean, I mean, same as, I don't know, a millionaire. Same person as the one that's living on the streets. The only difference is mindset, their self-belief, what they're worth. I mean, I'm not saying bad about the people on the street, but they obviously haven't got that self-worth as a millionaire has. That's literally, there's no difference other than how you see yourself.
100%. 100%. And what about yourself, Charlotte? I'm curious to hear what was the thing that you feel sort of changed everything, like that moment where everything went right, okay, and it shifted. What was it that changed that for you?
There's a couple really. One was focusing on one strategy, because we were like, oh, buy-to-lets are really good. Oh no, HMOs are really good. Okay, we got that. No, let's do a flip. No, let's do sourcing. Let's do this. And we just jumped around and didn't focus, and we got nowhere.
It's area to area.
Yeah.
We're looking at one area, but actually we've done one view there, it's not working, let's look somewhere else.
Yeah, just being completely focused and having someone say, just do it. And then the other one was, so we mentioned like we built our portfolio with other people's money, and that was a really big eye opener for us because we didn't have a pot of cash waiting to invest. So that whole learning of we can get investors and it can be a win-win for each of us, and you're not asking for money, it's an opportunity, and that mindset all around that was the biggest eye opener, because without that we wouldn't have started our journey really, because we would have no money to get going.
And I mean, you talk about it sort of helped you get your journey going. So a couple of questions off the back of that. I mean, how much money have you guys raised over the past sort of few years?
It's probably the best part of like 200,000.
Okay.
Probably about 250, yeah, probably about 250.
Not bad. And I love this. I love this part. So when you first started this journey, did you think that you knew people with that kind of money?
I was
No.
the biggest skeptic of this. I was like, our friends are getting married, they're having kids, they're buying a program, I don't know anyone that's got any money. They were like, what, 26? I was like, no one I know that's got any money, what, I'm not asking anybody. So I was just the biggest skeptic. I'm really sorry, Richard.
So, hey, it's all good. You're here now, so it's and everybody starts there. Very few people, although a lot of people say, yeah, no, it's fine. The vast majority of people do feel like, although they're saying it, there's a little part of them that still believes the opposite. And the fact that you're honest about it's a huge thing. And I mean, with the money you've managed to raise and everything you guys have done, how many deals have you guys been involved in over the past few years? Sort of that includes like the deals that you bought, the deals that you sold, the deal that you sourced, flips. Like, how many deals have you guys been involved in, sort of yourselves?
Upwards of between 20 and 30, I'd say, deals in the last 3.5 years. Yeah, deals in flipping, buy-to-lets, yeah.
It's been a bit of everything. But I'm saying stick to one strategy. We're still doing
You could start. Stick to one strategy, yeah.
Well, yeah. So, and obviously you guys work as a team. Now, I try to start this journey with my wife, and I'm sure she's probably listening to this or going to catch the recording. So I need to be a little bit careful what I say. She's smaller than me, but she's feisty. To be clear, she's feisty. But yeah, so we tried to start together. It didn't quite work out as well because apparently I'm very forthcoming with what I want, and her not as much, and it just didn't work. So I found it really difficult to do this as a relationship, as a spouse, or with my spouse. So how have you guys managed to do it? Like, how have you found working with each other? And how did you do it? Like, how did you make it work?
I'll let you go first.
To be honest, it's been a lot easier than I thought it would have been. I mean, obviously you hear about a lot of couples that can't work together. I think we're both I think we're both quite similar people in the fact that I wouldn't say we're laid back, but I think we're fairly laid back. We're kind of understanding of each other now, so we spend a lot of time the past 2 years actually literally being at home together all the time. I mean, all the lockdown's been a good test as well with both kids at home. But just more understanding with each other, but I think we're kind of bounce off each other as well. A lot of the times in the past, but not now, but I mean, a while ago, there'd be like one of us had a dip in confidence saying, oh, this isn't working, I can't do this anymore. And the other one would always be, no, it's fine, let's keep going, keep positive, essentially. And literally, you keep going back and forth like for a good year, really, wouldn't you?
Yeah, when someone's got really tough, I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
More you, more than me, but yeah.
And I think as well though, we've got different skills. Like Sam hates paperwork to death. He just doesn't like doing it. To the point where we get mortgage stuff and have sticky tape where he needs to sign. He just doesn't want to look at it. But he's really good at pricing up the refurbs and being out on site and driving up and down the country, which I don't really want to do. So we've got our own skills that kind of complement each other, don't we? We found the things that we didn't want to do. And surprisingly, the other person enjoyed that bit, so it was...
I think at the beginning there were quite a few arguments about it, like you want to get enough paperwork or you haven't done the doings or whatever, but we kind of, not deliberately, but we kind of come to an understanding that she does most of the paperwork and computer boring stuff that I don't like. And I'm just off out and about doing viewings, meeting clients, builders, whichever, and I mean, we're both happy doing that. I mean, obviously we do mix between. I mean, Charlotte came with me on a viewing day last week. She quite enjoyed it, and obviously I get involved with some of the paperwork sometimes, trying to...
Sometimes. Oh man, I absolutely love it. And you guys talked about getting a mentor. I mean, how has getting a mentor changed your sort of journey? What did that sort of do for you, and like how did that all sort of fit in with where you guys were at and what was going on?
I think we've kind of touched on this. Like, it just gave us that focus that we needed. We needed to pick a strategy and stick to it. We needed to find a new area and be comfortable with that. We needed someone basically to stop us self-sabotaging every deal we got that wasn't perfect. And just basically kick us when we needed kicks and pushed us along in that accountability.
Yeah, I think it was that, and obviously we had regular meetups with Richard. Eventually, we started helping on his like the 3-day trainings that he did. And it's just about being by the team and people like-minded, basically, just being close to it. If you're in it all the time, you can't help but be drawn into it more, like learn and get excited by it. I mean, a lot of people do this journey on their own. If you sat at home for 3, 4, 5 months, doing viewings on your own, not finding any deals, going through paperwork, it can often obviously becomes very, very hard. But the biggest thing to me, other than the drive and the direction we're given, is just having that almost a team mentality of everyone's in it together. But
I like that. I like that a lot. And sort of in terms of your learnings, so what's some of your biggest learnings that you've sort of taken from this journey so far? What's the biggest thing where you go, like, that's the thing where if I were to do it all again and I would be able to speak to my younger self, that's the thing I'd tell myself. So what would that be out of interest?
Mine would be just do the tasks when you need to do not procrastinating and putting things off and saying I'll do it tomorrow, like eat that frog.
Oh.
Yeah. Follow, that's what you need to do, is just get the worst thing out of the way and do it, and then do the other tasks after. It's so easy, especially with our family and the kids and everything, like to just put things off or do it later or whatever. And that really slowed our journey down at the beginning until we got that mindset in place that just do it. That was my idea.
Biggest learning, yeah, sorry. I was listening to it then. Biggest learning, I suppose, everything takes longer than you think it does in property. No fault of your own, it's solicitors, mainly solicitors, lenders, things like things do take a lot longer. So at the beginning, a lot of investors do it. When you finally get a deal agreed, we just kind of sat on our hands and thought, okay, we've got a deal agreed, let's wait for the paperwork to come, sign the paperwork, we've got a deal coming through, and then we just kind of stopped, nothing happened until we got a deal agreed, got it refurbed, and then we're like, okay, we're kind of back to square one again now. We should have carried on, like, once we got a deal agreed, we should have carried on doing dealings, getting more deals agreed.
Yeah.
I think just right at the start, we were quite, not sceptical, but about raising funds. We found it harder to raise the funds, harder to talk to people, because it's completely outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So, as British people, we don't talk about it.
Stiff upper lip, stiff upper lip. Oh man, I think that's I think that's awesome. It's useful, very useful. And like, if you were to give anyone some advice, obviously we've got a whole heap of people that are watching this. We're going to have a whole heap more people that are going to be tuning in later on as well. So for those of you that are listening in, I hope you guys are having a good time. If you are, please do give us a like or a thumbs up, just so we can get this stream out. I think it's super cool. And please make sure, who knows Sam and Charlotte, please tag them in this. I want to make sure that all their friends and family get to see them stepping up and getting out their comfort zone, getting on social media in this kind of way, which is huge. But if you were to give any advice, so to any newbies, anybody sort of sitting on the edge, not quite sure whether to do it or not, what would be your biggest piece of advice to those people with regards to investing and getting moving?
I think first of all, get educated, get yourself a mentor that's well invested, and just do it now. Don't think about it and wait for it, because even though we started quite young, we still are. Maybe we started 2 years before it's absolutely useful. Imagine if you thought now, I really fancy being property, but I'll wait a couple of years until we need to do this first. Where could you be in that 2 years? How far into your journey?
We've had that conversation with a few people actually, and they're like, we're just saving money, or we're going to do up our house, remortgage it, so in a couple of years' time we'll be able to start investing in property. Like, no, just start now. Get a bit of education.
Yeah.
You just to be your money. Most people don't understand that. They don't know that property. It doesn't have to be your money at all. It's very easy to get started with property. Essentially, you find the deals. It's easy to find money. Easier said than done.
Yeah, certainly easier than you would think, right? It's the mind's an interesting trickster that leads you to believe how things can be so difficult, but the reality is actually far simpler. So absolutely love that. And I mean, is there anything else you'd love to share with the guys listening in? Anything you think would be useful for them? Just sort of before we go to the questions. So.
Think it's useful. I suppose a lot of people's concerns that trying to get invested in property is on what to look for, I suppose. I know a lot of people they go out and I'll just buy a property and think, oh, that's got a good rent on it, I'll buy it and then I'll just have the cash flow for life. Essentially, the way we were trained and taught to do it is obviously find a rundown property,
Yeah.
get it at a discounted price, refurb it, and then obviously remortgage, and you can pull a good chunk of the money out, go again. That's essentially what we do. But a lot of people would struggle with like refurbishment costs, which I know is a big worry for a lot of people. In that kind of regard, it's hard to explain face to face, but you can almost do ballpark. So you can, if you need a new kitchen, you can talk, I don't know, 3-4 grand, depending on where you are in the country. A new bathroom, a couple of grand. It's very difficult, but once you get your head round how to cost up a refurbishment, the rest of it is easy. It's just all you know is the donut value of a property. Donut value of a property and the refurbishment. Essentially, that's all you need to find a good deal.
Perfect. Right, so I'm going to throw it out to everybody. So we've had a lot of comments coming in. So firstly, thank you everyone for tuning in, who's listening in. I hope you guys are getting some value. Awesome to see you guys, Harsha, Julia, Ashbinda, Andy, John, Kevin, and the rest of you who have yet to comment. Awesome, super cool to see all of you. Thank you for tuning in. Now, I want to throw the ball sort of over to all of you guys at home, sort of tuning in and listening to this. Have you guys got any questions? Anything you'd like to ask Sam and Charlotte? Anything you'd like to ask me? Anything you'd love to know that you think would help you on your journey? Anything you're stuck with? A challenge you'd love to air that you think these guys can help with? Anything like that, please pop it into the chat. Whilst you guys are busy typing, and because obviously we have a little bit of a lag, let me just ask, are you guys okay if people sort of reach out to you, get in touch with you guys, and just sort of chat? We'll make sure that you guys are tagged in the Facebook in particular. Don't know if we can do the YouTube. I don't quite know how to do that. We let the tech team deal with that. But we'll make sure you're tagged on Facebook. So anybody who wants to chat to you guys, are you okay if they sort of private message you and reach out? Just sort of. Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, lately we've been trying to expand our network anyway, because we've always been fairly quiet people. But I mean, we've been told a million times, but your network is your net worth. So the more people you know, essentially the more people you know in general, the more. I mean, you don't know who you're going to talk to, so you don't know what opportunity one person's going to bring up. So, yeah, I'm happy to chat to anyone.
Perfect. Excellent. So we've had a question popping in from Andy. Thank you very much for the question, Andy, which is, so you've seen through lockdown that you're already financially free. Have you found that your goals have changed now? Ooh, I like that.
I think we kind of were at the point that we knew that we were financially free, so we'd both already given up our jobs.
Yeah.
But I think really it just aligned that our goals that we'd already set before were right, really. So what we said originally is that we didn't want to push our journey too fast and do everything too quickly, that we're so busy, we haven't got that time with our children. We said once the children then are both at school, we're going to then go full blast day, because we have all that extra time. And I think because we had that 3 months, it was just lovely, and it just kind of reiterated to us really that we want to have that time with our kids. So we were really lucky that we basically had a 3-month holiday with them.
Yeah. And kind of obviously once September's here, we'll both be at school. I mean, George's going to be only at school for 3 days a week, but that's kind of when we're going to almost start stepping it up, I suppose. Go out there, do more viewings, but, I mean, expand. I mean, we're open to do developments or anything really. We're going to start trying to stretch ourselves more, look bigger, what we can do next. So the goals have got bigger and further. I suppose one of our main goals when we first started was, I suppose we should have did this earlier, but was to put both our children through private school. It's just, that's one thing we always wanted to do. One of my jobs I used to have as well, just before I got into property, before I did property full time, I used to be a bus and a coach driver, and the school that actually wanted them to go to, which is local to us, I used to almost service the school, I suppose, through the coach company, and I got to see what the school was like, how much more opportunities there are, the places we took them to, all the equipment they had. It was kind of opened my eyes up to like it's an unbelievable school, which is I want the best for our children, give them the best start in life. I mean, not for everyone, but that's what we wanted, and we've been able to achieve. That adults is at school now. George is starting there in September or something, and that was one of our biggest goals when we first started. We've done that, and now we're almost setting new goals now, aren't we?
Fantastic. Brilliant. Absolutely love that. Thank you very much for the answer, and thank you for the question, Andy. Then we've got another question coming in from Kathy, which is, what is your tips for juggling family life and work at the same time? Really good question there, thank you. Really good question.
We got up earlier, which is just getting up an hour before the kids get up, just so we can plan the exact few things that need doing for that day. So it might be like 2 things each that have to be done today, and that's how we start our morning off. And we just found that because we've been up that bit earlier and felt productive already, that the rest of our day was quite productive. Also, I think it's not feeling guilty if the kids are watching TV a little bit more than you want them to, because you're setting up a better future for them. So that's just something we just have to get over.
That was a little bit difficult, because obviously we're doing this because we want to spend time with them, but we need to continue to do it to be able to continue to spend time with them. So it's kind of catch-22 sort of thing, but we knew like a short-term sacrifice now for a huge long-term gain. That's what it always is, and always will be, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's just trying to plan your week as best as you can. So because we're lucky that we work together, we could plan, like, today Sam's going and do viewings here, so I won't do as much work today. I'll be focused on the kids and taking them wherever they need to go. And then I'll have all this stuff to catch up on. So Sam would take more of a step back that day, and we just kind of planned our week out really, because we just have to be organised.
Yeah. I've read a few different systems. I mean, sometimes, like you say, we get up early, try and get up an hour before they usually get up. Doesn't always go to plan. Almost to try and make a plan for the day, like you say, and other times where we've kind of said, look, I need to get this and this done today, it's an important day, can you kind of watch the kids more while I go in the office? It's not that person won't do any work, it's just that they will deal with all the distractions that comes with having children and that. So as long as one of us is doing something most days, it doesn't always go to plan.
Like nothing does.
But usually if we can, at least one of us is doing something, that's kind of how it goes. I mean, if we didn't have children, there's no doubt we'd be a lot further along than where we are now. I mean, we're still on a journey, and everyone's on a journey, no matter how far along you are. You'd just be a little bit further along, but I mean, we wouldn't change it for anything anyway. So, I mean, we're still getting there, we're happy where we are, we're comfortable, and come September we can start going a bit harder, a bit faster.
Excellent. Really good answer. So we had a message from Kathy. Mine played too much Minecraft. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Fortnite and Minecraft. But yeah, I'm very fortunate. My wife is equally wonderful at taking the strain with the kids as you guys play it off. So yeah, Excellent. Cool. Well, I suppose that's everything I wanted to get covered off today. I hope you guys all had a really good time. For those of you that are tuning in live, if you had a good time, please do me a favor, give me a yes or a thumbs up. Or much more importantly, I'd love you all to just share the stream, share the video, share what we're doing here. Let's get it out to the world. I love being able to impact more and more people with these guys, and just so people can start to see that you personally at home, sitting there is nothing stopping you building your portfolio, creating your financial freedom, and creating the life that you really desire. The only thing holding you back is your belief, and hopefully you're going to start to see off the back of this. You're kidding yourself. The stuff is well within your reach and well achievable for you. But look, guys, it has been an absolute pleasure. I just want to say a huge thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys popping along and being part of the stream. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thanks for having us.
Right, let me just exit now because I'm going to grab the computer. So bear with me just a second. Thanks, guys, and see you all soon. Bye.